What's up, y'all? So, we got some more Joe Biden classified documents that were uncovered. I believe they were found in his garage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were actually two groups. There was the first group at the UPenn Biden Center. Then there were some in the garage, apparently, with one of his cars or whatever. And then there was one singular document that they said they found among his personal belongings, I guess, like in the house.
What about, I heard people were mentioning his Corvette. Were there any found in his Corvette, or was it just
no?
The
It's just the Corvette
were in the garage with the Corvette.
Correct. Okay. And he got asked. Peter Doocy was pressing him on it in a press conference, and Biden was like, "I mean, it's my Corvette's in there. It's a locked garage, so it's not like it was just wide open." So, like that was
not the best defense, broski.
Not the best.
All right.
Defense.
So now I don't know how you guys covered the first batch of classified documents. But so I read the CBS News article on it, and then I showed Karl Rove on Fox News talking about it.
I didn't see that.
Okay, so it was very interesting because Karl Rove, even though he very clearly didn't want to defend Biden, he kind of did. And the reason is, at the time, there were 10 classified documents that were found compared to Trump's hundreds of classified documents.
Mm-hmm.
And Biden's team immediately reached out to law enforcement and complied, and Trump obviously didn't, and they tried to hide from it. And their understanding at the time was that none of the documents were really like the top secret of the top secret, so it wasn't like Trump's that belong in a SCIF and stuff like that.
Sure.
So basically you could tell he didn't really want to, but he kind of did defend Biden. What do you know about this new batch? How much do we know about the new batch? How many documents are there?
Next to nothing. We know less about the latest batch in terms of what it was, what level of classification, number of documents. I think at this point, at least what I've seen, we know very little about what these documents were. They were, the one other little detail just for color that I know is that some of them were mixed in with some of the documents having to do with Beau, his son who died, his like funeral arrangements or something like that. So anyway, it just gives you a sense of like it was kind of intermingled with some of his personal effects.
So in the original CBS News article I covered, they said that there's one of like two Trump-appointed attorneys general. I hate that term, by the way. I like saying attorney generals.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of two Trump-appointed attorneys general was going to investigate this, basically. But that was at the state level. Now, since then, we learned, you told me, that now there's a special prosecutor who's been appointed by Merrick Garland.
Yeah,
which is federal, not state.
Well, I'm not sure what the first thing, I'm not sure what that refers to, because also Trump wouldn't be appointing attorney generals, so I'm not...
No, it was one of the holdovers from when Trump was president.
So somebody at Department of Justice, you're saying?
One of two people who Trump had appointed, I guess, excuse me, it's something at the state level.
Yeah,
the president has the ability to
I don't know about that.
So it's a federal thing at the state level. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But what we know now,
under him,
there was some investigation already ongoing,
right. And
now in order to maintain like the appearance of total independence and whatever, Merrick Garland has appointed a special counsel. Guy's name is, I just looked it up, Richard Herr, I think that's right.
Okay.
Robert,
yeah, that is what you just
said. Richard, that's what I said. Okay. Anyway.
I think it was Robert.
I read a little bit about him. Now, this guy was a Trump appointee, and he worked at the Justice Department for a time under the Trump administration. And he there were Democrats and Republicans who were sort of singing his praises. He had worked previously in Maryland, so some of the Maryland Democrats were saying, we trust this guy, we like him. There were things he was also involved somehow with the sort of interfacing with the Mueller special counsel situation in his capacity as a Trump Justice Department official. And so there were people on the right who were sort of saying, oh, you can't trust this guy because he was involved with the Mueller thing. I saw Chris Hayes pointing to an article of he was involved in some Trump press conference that gave some question about his independence and ethics there. So anyway, people are finding fault with him, but the overall general political impression is that he's a pretty neutral player and kind of has been trusted by some politicians on both sides of the aisle at different points.
So here's the way I look at it based on the information we have right now in regards to both the Trump documents and now the Biden documents. My biggest concern for both, actually, it's twofold. Number one, I think if there's anything that really is that top secret of the top secret, in other words, the stuff that should actually be classified, not just the stuff that like they classify as a matter of standard operating procedure where they overclassify.
But it's kind of bullshit.
Like, number one, that's the stuff I'm most concerned about. So if there's any of that stuff, I say throw the book at them. Whoever, whether it's Trump or Biden. We know Trump has that stuff. It's possible Biden has that stuff. We don't know for sure. And then the other thing is, obviously, if they need to see if there's any evidence of basically selling these, whatever the secrets may be, to foreign adversaries, foreign companies, because that would be, in my estimation, probably the worst possible thing you could do with the documents.
Right.
And of course, the fear in regards to Trump is that maybe there was some stuff going on with Saudi Arabia. There was that great article recently that talked about how he's literally making a deal with the government of Oman at the same time he's running for president now, which is like insane that's even like that shouldn't be remotely legal, and I don't think it is, but nobody's actually like looking into it. So anyway, that's my biggest concern. If there's top secret of the top secret documents, the things that should really be classified that they had, that would be a problem for both. And then if any of them are selling it, of course, on the right, they're going to be concerned about, oh, maybe Biden's selling this to China or selling this to Ukraine or whatever the hell. So anyway, you just need to do the investigation and need to figure out if they are guilty of anything, and if so, throw the book at them. And look, I have to say, though, my instinct, based on everything I've seen so far, and I'm curious what you think of this, I do think the optics are terrible in that, the Democrats were going after Trump for this, and the Biden people were going after Trump for this, and it's just like, whoops, you're kind of guilty of a similar thing. But I will say that is more the bird's eye view. Once you get into the specifics, I think it's much more likely Trump actually committed a crime and Biden didn't.
Well,
sorry, but I think that's the case.
Well, the obstruction piece is important too, in terms of what you would actually charge Trump with. The obstruction, because there were, reports of him hiding these documents, moving them around, refusing to cooperate. Just in terms of the law, that looked like almost the most clear-cut case of what they get him on. So there's no doubt some of the details here are different between Trump and Biden. Although we should also say we're still learning about what happened with Biden, what these documents are, what did he attempt to conceal that. I mean, we don't really know the answers to those questions yet. So I do want to say that as well. But yeah, of course the optics are terrible, because Democrats, just recently were, I think rightly, deeply considered this was a massive threat to national security. They were deeply concerned about this. And then you can't turn around and be like, hand wave this away, this is no big deal, when you were just acting like this was the biggest of deals possible. So yeah, it's really bad for them.
And vice versa too, though, because the right was actually like, bro, classified documents are no big deal at all. And now with Biden, they're like, this is very concerning.
It's been a yo-yo, because when it was Hillary, you were in this position, Trump and everybody switches position, and then, now it's back to Democrats are like, classified documents, no big deal, and Republicans are like, this is the end of the republic. But the question I have for you is, do you think that it will affect whether or not they indict Trump? Now, it shouldn't, but it should just be where the facts lead you, but we all know that's not the way these things really work.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because based on the deep level of cuckery within the Democratic establishment, it leads you to believe, because, your normie is going to look at just the headlines and say, oh, Trump had classified documents and Biden has classified documents. It's a wash. And I think Democratic establishment types and people like Merrick Garland, they're scared of their own shadow, so they feel like, well, if we go after Trump and we actually prosecute him over this stuff, then then we're gonna look like we're biased and it's partisan, even if the facts are a little different. So I guess we can't do it. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. It does make me worry. But at least there's like 17 other investigations into Trump for like other wrongdoing.
Right.
So maybe one of the other things can take him down.
Yeah, it makes me feel like they're more likely to charge him on one of those other things. Like, Joe Biden clearly didn't have like a fake elector scheme and like, incite people to riot on January 6th. So that's a little bit politically maybe a cleaner direction at this point, if that's the way that they're looking at these things.
Yeah, and final point. There's one point I have to address, because I've seen like virtually every right-winger say it.
Okay.
Like, bro, where's the raid of the Biden areas? Where's the raid of the Biden garage?
Stupid.
Where's the raid of the Biden office? We're waiting for it, bro. Is it coming? Any day now, I guess. And they think this is like some sort of epic own and gotcha. And it's like, no, you are self-owning, because Biden and his team immediately complied with the authorities and reached out to them, and Trump was doing the opposite. So I feel like that's such a smug, flippant, partisan tribalist shit
and they know.
to do.
Yeah, and they know the difference.
They know.
Yeah.
They're the biggest idiots in the world. You know, like, there's a clear difference. Why would they raid you if you're reaching out to them and saying, hey, I got that here, bro. Like, we just found this. Here, take it.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a raid. Why would there be a raid? That's the analogy I made is like, if you don't pay your taxes for 5 years and you go into the IRS and say, hey, guys, I haven't paid my taxes in 5 years, but I'm here. Let's work something out. Let's get a deal. They'll make a deal with you. It's only if you don't pay your taxes and then you're still hiding after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and they're trying to track you down and you're hiding. That's when they throw the book at you, and that's when you might go to prison. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. It's a stupid point. It's an obviously shallow point. It's one that I have to believe the people who are making know the difference, but, you know, it doesn't matter to them. That don't matter to them.
Well, anyway, let's hope we don't have to do another video of more Joe Biden classified documents coming out, but that is very possible. Bye, guys.